Okay. Hi guys, welcome back to Waxing On. It's Wednesday, and that means classic rock. And today we're going to look at one of my favorite albums from the 70s. I had it originally on cassette, listened to it a lot. It was a great road tape when you put it in the car when you're on a tour. I did recently get a new version of it on album. Unfortunately, I tried playing it today and it's skipping. Got to check on that. The old stuff, yeah, once in a while that had happened, but I thought nowadays maybe things are a little more modern, we wouldn't get that. But anyway, still a great album. We're talking about the Steve Miller Band Greatest Hits. Now, often I tell you, check out live recordings, which basically are live versions of the hits, or the Greatest Hits album to get a real idea what these bands are doing. Now, Steve Miller had actually put out quite a few albums. I think his 8th album was Joker, and that's the one where I really became aware of him. Maybe that was his breakout album. Greatest Hits album here is from 1974 to 78. Surprisingly, it was taken from 3 albums. 1 song from the Joker. I'm just looking here quickly. We got 8 songs from his album called Book of Dreams, 6 songs from Fly Like an Eagle. So really, we've drawn from basically 2 albums to find the greatest hits. Things kind of peaked at this time. And again, we're looking at the late 70s. Give me a second, I'll give you some idea who's playing on the album with him. We've got Steve Miller on guitar and vocals, Gary Malabar on drums, Byron Allred on keyboards, David Denny on guitar, Lonnie Turner on bass, Greg Douglas on guitar, and Norton Buffalo on harmonica. So pretty heavy on the guitar. A great album, a lot of hits. Songs you're going to recognize and probably know by heart. Just to give you a rundown what he's playing, side 1 we got Swing Town, Jungle Love, Take the Money and Run. There's another classic. Rockin' Me, Serenade, True Fine Love, and The Stake. Side 2, The Joker. And again, that's the song that really caught my attention first and made me aware of who the Steve Miller Band was, and maybe his first real breakout hit as far as I'm concerned. Fly Like an Eagle, Threshold, Jet Airliner, Dance, 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 Wintertime, and Wild Mountain Honey. Now, again, basically we're looking at a lot of tunes from the Book of Dreams. That was probably the majority of what made up the album, with Fly Like an Eagle coming in second, but there's been a few changes. I think of a tune, especially one I just noticed, Jet Airliner, the versions are a little different. The version on the album is, a little bit shorter than the other version on the original album. Maybe there's some more radio play. Sometimes you'll get that, especially we found that with the Chicago album. What they released for radio play was very different than what appeared on the album. Found out Blood, Sweat, and Tears. They were able to stretch out more on the album and do things. This one, again, a lot of abbreviated versions of some of the tunes. Now, for me, I didn't mind that because I wasn't really familiar with the original version. Anyways, if you're familiar with the original one, maybe this will cause a little bit of concern for you. But again, a real great album to find out what the Steve Miller Band was doing late 70s, and they've turned out some classic hits. Now, following that up, I enjoyed it so much, I thought, why not buy another Steve Miller album when it came out? And he had another big hit a few years later called Abracadabra. And I've got the Steve Miller Abracadabra album. Now, unfortunately, I think Abracadabra was the big hit. I listened to this, still produced by Steve Miller. A lot of the same players, Gary Malabar, Kenny Lee Lewis this time on guitar, Gerald Johnson, Steve Miller, John Massaro, and Brian Allred. It just didn't click. To me, when I think of the Steve Miller Band, I think of the tunes I'm finding on this album. This is what, to me, really defined the band. Abracadabra, I don't know. For me, it just missed the mark. It really didn't match up to what I'd heard in the other albums. It wasn't the same kind of feel. It wasn't the same kind of music. It just didn't resonate with me the way the songs off of Fly Like an Eagle or Book of Dreams did. But maybe worth checking out anyways. Both the albums, I'm sure, are available on the streaming network. I know, of course, Greatest Hits albums are going to be available. Abracadabra, worth a listen to. Certainly, if you want to get a feel for what was going on in the late 70s, Steve Miller Band was churning out the hits, and their music really represented, a piece of that time, and well worth taking a look at. So if you get a chance, if you can get it on tape, well, I don't want to say tape now because that's kind of outdated. And even if I say, digital downloads, if you can find it on the streaming networks, hey, it's a great tape for a road trip. Stick it in when you're in the car. I mean, that, Steppenwolf, Bachman Turner Overdrive, all of those are great road trip listening tapes. I say tapes still, but you know what I mean, listening music. So, anyways, something to check out for Wednesday, the Steve Miller Band. Get a little flashback to what was going on. Gee, that was almost 50 years ago. Can you imagine? So, that's it for Wednesday. Waxing on, we'll see you on Friday when we'll be looking at another musician. Very hard to define. We'll find out about him, American that came to Canada in the early 70s and turned out some nice music. So until then, everybody take care, stay safe. Thanks for stopping by.